morning and welcome to Berita 2 News. Today I'm Sharon Delariva will be talking about the upcoming issue of AEC. But before that, let us watch this video.
Trade ministers met for talks aimed at achieving economic integration at the International Convention Center today, August the 19th. Second Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Bin Dato Lim Jok Seng, chaired the ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting and the ASEAN Economic Community Council meeting. The ministers discussed ways of strengthening partnerships and exchanged ideas on how ASEAN can increase its regional competitiveness.
Today's meeting, we basically talked about the investment side of the game, where we're excited about the increase of capital formation in ASEAN, the increase of investment in ASEAN, 18% rise in 2012, and then consistent and continuing increases of capital formation or deployment from the traditional markets of Europe, the United States, and the other developed countries in Asia, and even large developing countries that are putting money to work in Indonesia. Now, on top of that, I think more structurally, there was a lot of discussion involving not only the ministers but also the private sector participants from the ASEAN ABAC, who have suggested many things, inclusive of the strengthening of the small medium enterprises, financial inclusion, the empowerment of women, for the purposes of creating a lot more robust, business environment. And we did talk about the ease of doing business as one yardstick. Now on the trade side, we basically talked about the importance of basically promoting ASEAN to the neighboring countries of China. So a lot of stuff that basically indicates progress in a positive manner, but it also indicates some of the areas where we've got to work a little bit harder on.
Here in our studio, we have our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Hideo Andreas and Ms. Yami Mahutapea. But before we begin our interview, we are connected with our reporter, Sally.
Thank you, Sharon. Now I'm Sally reporting live from Denpasar. I have Liano as one of the local businessmen in Denpasar, Bali. Oke, sekarang saya punya beberapa pertanyaan seputar pendapat Anda mengenai adanya masyarakat ekonomi ASEAN tahun 2015. Apakah Anda telah mendengar atau mengetahui mengenai akan adanya masyarakat ekonomi ASEAN pada tahun 2015?
Tiang sih sampun dengar di pemerintah ring Bali. Tiang sih optimis ini bakal masyarakat Bali pasti optimis bahwa AEC 2015 bakal bikin Bali makin ramai lagi, investasi dari luar negeri itu kita yakin pasti banyak banget.
Begitu ya, Bli. Menurut Anda, apakah Indonesia ini siap dengan hadirnya masyarakat ekonomi ASEAN pada tahun 2015 mendatang? Apa saja tantangan yang harus dihadapi oleh Indonesia dan apa juga manfaat yang dapat diraih oleh Indonesia itu?
Menurut Tiang sih Indonesia itu bukan hanya butuh siap, tapi kita emang butuh AEC itu saling dibutuhkan. Bukan hanya masyarakat Bali, tapi masyarakat Indonesia. Tiang sih berharap bahwa semua aspek-aspek dan buruh-buruh itu bakal siap dan meningkatkan ekonomi yang lebih optimal lagi. Kalau menurut saya sih AEC ini sangat bagus dan membuat perekonomian Indonesia itu lebih naik lagi.
Apakah Anda percaya dengan adanya masyarakat ekonomi ASEAN 2015 ini akan meningkatkan pemasukan bagi Indonesia dalam bidang pariwisata, khususnya di Denpasar Bali?
Ya, Tiang sih optimis bahwa seperti yang kita tahu, AEC ini bertujuan untuk meningkatkan investasi dari luar negeri. Ya, Tiang sih optimis dengan adanya investasi dari luar negeri ini. Turis-turis, terutama dari turis Australia yang dominan turis Bali ini bakal lebih meningkat lagi dan bakal membuat Bali lebih kaya lagi.
Thank you, Sally. Now let's begin with our first question to Ms. Yami Mahutapea. Hi, Ms. Yami Mahutapea. What do you think about the upcoming AEC?
I think AEC is such a great idea because it will boost regional trade since it will eliminate the trade barriers such as tariff and tax, and it will also improve the competitiveness of SMEs to be able to compete with other small enterprises. And it will also improve the national income of every ASEAN country. So I think it is such a great idea.
Oh, so do you believe AEC can achieve its goal?
With the preparation that has been done, I believe that AEC will reach its goal. And I believe that every country is ready for AEC because actually we've been preparing for AEC since 2010. So I do have a big optimism about AEC.
Thank you, Ms. Yamima Hutapea. Now, before we continue with our next speaker, Mr. Hideo Andreas, we are already connected with our reporter Agnes Florencia from Semarang. Hello, Agnes.
Thank you, Sharon. Now I'm Agnes Florencia reporting live from Semarang, and we have Miss Dinda here as one of the local worker that works on a small medium enterprise. Pertama-tama saya ingin mengetahui apakah Mbak Dinda sudah tahu atau pernah dengar mengenai masyarakat ekonomi ASEAN tahun 2015. Oh yo, yo Mbak, yo ngerti siti-siti, moco sama koran, terus delok TV, yo ngertilah tapi yo ngertinya yang mau kuitok yang saya delok di TV wae. Setelah mengetahui mengenai masyarakat ekonomi ASEAN tahun 2015, apa tanggapan Mbak Dinda? Apakah Indonesia sudah siap atau secara khusus bidang yang dimiliki oleh Mbak Dinda sendiri? Tanggapannya tentang masyarakat ASEAN ku ya Mbak yo, piye yo? Tok iki yo bakalan banyak londo-londo ngono ya di Indonesia. Terus nek Indonesia ki siap apa iki? Kayak belum lah, kalau masih banyak orang kayak saya yang piye yang ora iso apa-apa, yang mau misalnya ya kerja penasaran ngono lho, ra iso sing mikir-mikir ki ra iso Mbak. Apakah ada usaha pemerintah untuk Mbak Dinda, khususnya untuk pekerja dalam menghadapi masyarakat ekonomi ASEAN tahun 2015? Nih, pemerintah ki menurut kula ki piye ya Mbak? Ra ngurusi sing cilik kaya aku iki lho, kanca-kancaku ki ra di ono apa-apa, ra ono pelajaran, ra ono aku yo ndelok dhewe saka berita jadi kayak pemerintah ki cuma ngurusi bos-bos wae, perusahaan-perusahaan kuwi ra ngurusi wong-wong cilik kaya aku. This is our live report, and now back to the studio.
Thank you, Agnes. Now back to the topic. Mr. Hideo Andreas, so do you share the same opinion as Ms. Yamima Hutapea?
Well, yeah, the AEC does have its benefits, just like Ms. Hutapea said, but I do have some different opinions regarding the AEC itself, because I think that not all will enjoy the same benefits from the AEC. There are bound to be losers and winners from this implementation. And the important question is, we must ask, who will benefit the most from this implementation?
So, who do you think will get the most benefit from AEC?
Well, of course, the capital owners will benefit the most, because as we have heard recently, the International Labor of Vietnam have stated their concerns about the unskilled laborers at Vietnam. They're not well prepared in dealing with the implementation of the AEC because, well, they will lose out of the competition from foreign workers who will provide, well, less wages but at the same level of skills. So I think that with the bigger market that the AEC provides and the deeper cooperation of governments, the capital owners will have a greater chance of accumulating more capitals here. But the laborers, on the other hand, they will lose their bargaining power. They cannot demand for higher wages because they have to compete with a larger pool of laborers here. Well, it's great that there is a larger pool of laborers, but it's the capital owners that will enjoy this, but not the laborers though. So that's why I think that I have to disagree a little bit on this one. And I still do feel optimistic a little bit, but I still see that the laborers will not enjoy as much as the capital owners.
Well, it has been an interesting talk. Once again, thank you for being here, Ms. Yamima Hutapea and Mr. Hideo Andreas. Now we have reached at the end of our show. I'm Sharon Delariva from Berita 2. See you next week and thank you.